Hey, Dota fans, and welcome back. The end of the summit has just happened, and this could be the last serious Dota 2 tournament we see for the coming months. The Los Angeles Major canceled. Dota Pit, the next minor.
Whoa. Postponed. Hold
Postponed.
up.
Okay.
Thank
I
you.
guess they're all going to be postponed, but Dota Pit canceled. Major after that, I forget which one it was, also
Epicenter.
canceled. We don't really know what's going to happen. It's a crazy time. We're all hunkered down, weathering the storm. We're going to focus in on a lot of that summit action that we saw. I guess it ended on Friday, so it feels like it was a long time ago.
The world's moving extremely fast right now, dude.
It feels like the world's moving at esports pace, you know?
It does, doesn't it?
Maybe even
Shit's
faster.
pretty wild.
So, first things first, bud, how's it going in old California? How's Canada weathering the storm of the COVID-19 virus?
Better than you guys. I know that much. We were the last province in Nova Scotia to get it, which really shocked me because we have a lot of travel between us and like Iran. So I thought for sure we were gonna get hit first, because we have like a decent sized Iranian community here, but
Interesting.
no at least detected cases, and we had a lot of like screening clinics and stuff set up, but it's beginning to crawl here. From what I've seen, most people are being very good about social distancing, and the hoarding isn't too bad here. Like Costco, I think, was the only place that was like running out of toilet paper.
Really? So
Everywhere else
you
was
could still
fine.
get toilet paper at your grocery store?
Yes.
Damn, dude. That's impressive.
Yeah.
I think it's everywhere here. Apparently, there are some life hacks that Pop-Tart told me that you could go to like the motorhome section of Walmart, and there might still be some toilet paper hiding. They stash it in other parts of the store aside from just the toilet paper section. But, I mean, we buy toilet paper at Costco already, so we've got 30 rolls or whatever the fuck it is. But
I mean, honestly, we were at the grocery store, and like I could kind of use some just because we're like almost out, and I was too embarrassed to buy it.
really,
That's what Sarah and I both agreed. We were like, yeah, no, I don't even want to buy toilet paper right now because they had like 8 pallets out, all double stacked, and people were like grabbing them, and every cart had like 2 of them in it, and I'm just like, I can't right now. This is the stupidest shit I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, I feel you, but if you need it, you need it. That's kind of the whole point with toilet paper, you know, if you're running low. Now, you can use the butt wipes. They're a little bit worse for the environment. I don't think they biodegrade, but the adult baby wipes, it's a fallback. I'm just saying, if we really get into dire times and it's that or bamboo, the baby wipes are usable. I've been there. It's not the worst. So a little anecdote on my side, though. Our reality went from joke to serious pretty fucking quick yesterday. The Path of Exile recent League Delirium dropped on Friday, so this was Path of Exile weekend. Perfectly timed for everyone to be at home, just playing games with their buds. But that morning, Carlo and I were joking, A, about who's going to be the first person we know that gets coronavirus, and B, how serious is this quarantine? And we agreed, we might as well just not go outside. So Bozo Bob there was on a ski trip on Saturday, and the resort that he was at got shut down, and they sent everybody home early. And then yesterday, about halfway through the afternoon, they issued an announcement saying if you've been to any of the ski resort counties in Colorado in the last week, you should definitely self-quarantine for 14 days. And, of course, we've been sharing a kitchen, sharing food, sharing space like normal. So we are actually on lockdown here at the Moonduck HQ. We are on day number I've already lost track. This is day number 2 of our self-imposed quarantine. So
could you move that webcam just a little further to the left away from me? I feel like I don't think that's 2 meters I see on the preview screen. I'm feeling a little uncomfortable right now, if I'm being honest.
How's that? Wait.
That's much better. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Look at that. Square it up. Yeah, you were inching on in, man.
Yeah,
it's rough. It's weird because it's like, I mean, I think it's pretty low chance we're infected. I'm not like nervous about it, but it is weird when you go like, holy shit, I need to actually be super, super careful. I should really not go out and do stuff. We tried to order groceries on Amazon yesterday. 4-day queue to get stuff delivered. Sold out. They said, 4 days until we can get you anything.
They got to start those flying drones they were talking about doing.
Yeah.
That's the play.
Yeah. So Colorado's been a shit show. couple CU Boulder students. I think this morning that was the news that it's spreading on the campus. So
Man, I would say being in res right now would be awful. Like,
yeah.
most people are going home if they can, but like if you lived on res and your classes are canceled anyway, or they're all online, res would be such a terrible place to have to be.
Well, so the other thing that was weird about CU Boulder is that they committed to making all classes online, but they didn't do it right away. They announced it on the 12th, I think, and today is when it goes into effect. And looking back, it's sort of like, well, we missed the boat on that one. Immediate was kind of the key word there. So I think pretty much everything is shutting down. Here, it's any gathering larger than 200 people is pretty much canceled by default. But I think some other countries have adopted even more aggressive policies, like 50 people. And you guys don't have like a curfew or any of that shit going on, do you?
Yeah, we're like 150 for us. But they haven't done anything for like the bars and restaurants. All the bars have voluntarily canceled St. Patrick's Day. And I really hope that everyone in North America will, because that's just a disaster waiting to happen. Of all the holidays to be going on during this shit, it's like the only time in North America where every single person kind of goes out and goes to bars, and it's pretty sloppy, you know. Would not go for that.
Yeah, this is a sad year for St. Patty's Day. This is a drinking at home kind of. When is St. Patrick's Day? Is it today?
No, it's like next week, I think.
Oh, it's next week? Oh, I know it's in March. I don't have the calendar in front of me.
I think it's next Tuesday. So it's something like that. I don't know. I never know what day it is either. Someone will know. Some, little Tuesday. Is it this Tuesday or next Tuesday?
So
17th. Oh, so it is tomorrow.
It's
well,
tomorrow.
There you go.
Yeah, I knew it was pretty close. There it is.
They always know. They got the knowledge.
So, before we dive into the summit, let's look at the official Dota 2 announcement, because I kind of...
Well, here's what I'll say, is that I don't think I'm going to be talking that much about the summit. I feel like the summit is, summit was cool and all, but we've got a lot more to talk about everything else. We might just want to get the summit out of the way.
Okay. All right. You know what? You're right. You're totally right, bud. Let's do it. Now, I have to confess, this is going to be day 4 of my PoE binging. Pop-Tart and I have been going in so hard, Trent. I just want to put that little... I feel brain damaged right now. I played 14 hours of Path of Exile yesterday, 15 hours before that, and like 12 hours the day before that.
Man.
It's been awesome. And we're both
to be young again.
We're playing Necromancers. Days. So we're playing the exact same build, but together. So we're learning like idiots as a duo. And it's really fun. We were going to play with Mott and Brax, but then they ditched. Brax didn't show up for the launch, and Mott played with us for a couple of hours, then got bored because we were too slow. Now, it usually takes like 6 or 7 hours to clear through the content to get to the maps. It took me and Pop-Tart 15. That's how slow we were moving. But, Trent, it was all worth it because you get better drops when you're moving in a party, right? Because the mobs are harder. We found 2 Exalted Orbs on day 2.
Those are good.
Those are real good. Those are way better. Those are worth, like, Pop-Tart sold his for 80 chaos. I sold mine for 110 chaos last night.
What's a chaos?
That's like the currency below chaos orbs and then exalted orbs. It's confusing. Anyway, the moral of the story is 2 exalts on day 2 of the league is fucking sick. And Pop-Tart and I have this awesome team effort. Like the first one, we agreed to sell it and split it. And then we found another one. And Pop-Tart still wanted to split the first one with me. That man is too nice. I had to say no and say, dude, you keep it. That's you, dog. We share everything. It's such a great vibe. Mott didn't want to put it on the group loot setting because he was afraid that I would steal his good items if they dropped. He was like, why don't we put it on permanent allocation? I was like, why do we need that? He's like, well, what if an Exalt drops and it's mine, but I'm killing a mob so I can't pick it up and then you take it? Like, well, then I would be a dick and I'll just give it to you. Yeah. Now I see how it is.
I mean, you definitely had friends like that. I remember playing those kind of games, like the loot hoarders that would steal everything.
Yeah. It's true. But anyway, it's been a lot of fun. Highly recommend Path of Exile. We're going to keep the grind going today. So anyway.
I mean, if you guys are out there looking for a game, everyone I know is playing it right now.
Yeah, my friends list is full. It's insane. It's Dota people just grinding hard. We started a guild too, the Summoner Squad.
Oh, did you?
Huh?
Well, you guys have to hit up the Sniff Sniff Discord. Get that guild link.
come hang out with us. So anyway,
alas,
have you been playing any games, Trent? Have you been doing anything besides babies?
No, just tried to watch some of the summit. I've been dabbling in older games, like waiting. I'm waiting for Animal Crossing. Actually, I'm pretty hyped up. It's gonna be fun. So I've just been playing Smash, playing some GameCube games, playing some
Okay.
like Double Dash, just for fun.
So the old
I was
classics.
playing the Final Fantasy Tactics, the like War of the Lions, the PSP updated version. That shit's sick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know we were talking about it the other day, but I am a little bit hyped for Animal Crossing. I'm slowly
Attaboy.
starting to get more and more excited about this weird game genre that I've never played before.
I had tried explaining to Zyori because he's never played it, and I said it's a game that I have never seen you play anything like it, and I assume you'll kind of not like it. But I love Animal Crossing. Huge fan. Played it a lot when I was young. Very excited. It's so chill and relaxing and cute. I don't know.
Exactly.
It's adorable.
I can see why most people would think that I wouldn't like it, and I think that's a fair guess. But I'm specifically looking for something that's different from Dota or PoE, where it's fast and grindy. I just want to chill, man. Sometimes when I'm in the mood to play poker, it's just a chill card game. You're just folding, you're raising, you're just chilling.
You're just folding.
You're folding, you're chilling. Yeah, I'm folding the rags, playing some face cards. You're just chilling, man, playing a little tight, playing some cash games. Sometimes you're in the mood to chill, something that you can put 20 minutes into and not feel bad about if you got to walk away from the table.
You know what is always chilled? Monster, the sponsor of the Summit 12.
Hey.
Which they're the secondary sponsor, of course, to the Loot Bet Dota Summit. In which okay, so let me give you a little sidebar here, guys. So I noticed it was the Loot Bet Summit, and I happened to be going on the Twitch pages, and I saw that Maincast was actually, this is what happened. OG tweeted that their games were on for OG Seed, and they listed the Beyond the Summit stream, and then for Russia they listed a random streamer who was streaming the game. And and I was like, okay, cool. But then Vlad tweeted at them saying, hey guys, come on, and he listed the Maincast channel. And I was like, oh, I guess Maincast must be, paying for it. So I clicked Maincast channel, and they have wiped all the Loot Bet ads, and it just says gg.bet. So you know how GGBet's like orange and then Loot Bet's like teal?
Yeah.
It just has like orange GGBet, and then all the other stuff is teal. And so I was really curious. So I messaged Beyond the Summit, but I never got a hard confirmation back. I just got a thanks for the info. So I was very curious if what the deal was going there.
That is really...
I don't have any inside knowledge. I don't know what was happening. I don't know if that's just like a Loot Bet only paid for English. If so, that's cool. But I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah, so there's a lot of ways you could slice that, because we've worked with a lot of different betting sponsors, and we have had scenarios where a betting sponsor comes to us for an event like Midas Mode or something that has English, Russian, and Chinese broadcasting. Not every sponsor necessarily cares about every language.
Exactly, because like they're different regions and where they have their rights and everything.
Like some of these betting sites, they can't take bets from China, and others can. So that's a big difference there. Russia's the same way, Europe's the same way. So it totally could be something like that. I would suspect that Maincast has some sort of a studio partnership with GGBet.
Oh, 100%. They definitely do.
The other thing that happens too, like the way this is really supposed to work, though the other languages have gotten disproportionately shafted, is that you do the event, then you sell the exclusive Russian rights to somebody, and then they're able to then resell advertising to their demographic on top of that. So they pay you 10 grand and then they sell 30 grand worth of ads, and that's how they make money to pay for their broadcast and why it's
and as someone like Maincast, that's a very reasonable thing that could have happened.
Yes. A group that has a sales team and connections to sponsors and stuff. So that very well could be it. I don't know specifically. I would assume LootBet works in Russia. That's what makes this one so strange, because based on the research, Freya Stein's videos are in Russian primarily. So that seems to be a significant target market for them.
Right. That's what caught me off guard, too.
So that part is peculiar. So yeah, all that said, I don't really know where that leads us here. Maybe BTS got slapped around a little bit by Maincast. Who knows? It wouldn't be the first time that's happened to a tournament organizer, where one of your other language broadcasters says they're going to do one thing and then realizes, man, what are you guys going to do about it? You going to come to Russia and tell me not to do it?
Or are you ever going to watch the stream?
Are you even going to notice? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they definitely have. I've worked tournaments where the other languages have snuck stuff in 100%.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
That happens quite a bit.
I think it's happened more than I realized. I was pretty naive about that shit for a long time. Like, well, why wouldn't they do it? You're asking the wrong questions there, bud. So, yeah, interesting little aside there. So, before we dive into the matches, I want to give a special shout out, highlight to one talent in particular. You guys know who it is, Mr. Dan Offen, Mr. Big Jams. First time really diving into an event like that. And I think of all the events, the Summit is both the hardest and the easiest to be the outsider like that. Because Summit 12, that group of talent know each other very well. And you're like the dude who's trying to figure out how to mesh with the group of cool guys that have already worked all these big events together. So that it can be difficult, but at the same time, Summit is super low pressure. You can pretty much sit on the couch and say almost anything, and it's not going to be that big of a deal.
It helps that he's also talked to a lot of us before too, right? Like
yes.
Any of those guys he's kind of had conversations with, so.
Yeah. He's done enough podcasts now that he's actually talked to every single person on this list.
Oh, man, he even got a page made on Wikipedia. He's good now, guys.
Dude. Mr. Big Jam.
He got a sweet photo too. Fuck, man! First event, and he gets a good headshot.
Wow.
Yeah, what a legend.
Wow, that's great.
The guy's 1 for 1. So yeah, hopefully he'll be back. I loved his closet interview.
Yeah,
that was great.
Now, one of the other content pieces that jumped out at me was when he was talking about his size early on, and he said that he was 1 inch away from being legally considered a giant in the UK, and then getting special treatment for like whatever, you get like
what, like a handicap sign or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Closer to the store.
So I thought about that opening bit for like days, and at day 4 of the Summit, I had to message him, and I was just like, was that shit true or was that a joke? And I said, I kind of don't care because I realize it's hysterical either way. If you made it up, it's still a funny joke, and if it's true, that's even funnier, actually. And he said, no, that's completely true. He said, when I did stand-up, that used to be my opener on stage because I had to address it because I'm so fucking big. You see me, it's just like, God damn, that guy's a giant. So you got to take the wind out of the sails. And I was just thinking, man, this was well planned. Dan Offen, he's playing some 3D chess, dude. He had a plan.
I caught him in a couple drafts, too. He did very well. He was, fitting right in there, kind of taking a host role as you would expect him to. So, just very impressed by our guy, and frankly impressed by all the talent, man. It was a really good talent group this round.
Yeah, no, it really was. This was a fun event to watch. Got to see Dakota on the couch. I enjoyed it. I saw that he tweeted something about like didn't feel he was in the game or he didn't feel ready for it or kind of felt out of touch and needed to bone up next time he sits down on the mic. But I enjoyed all of the Dakota casting I heard.
I think he was just out of the meta, but in terms of like just like hanging out,
aren't we all out of the meta? It's the Summit, man. Come on.
Yeah, it's true.
We're chilling.
I mean, to that effect, I watched like 6 or 7 games. I think overall, I did not get a huge amount of time to watch the Summit. I mean, to be fair, there weren't that many games, I guess, outside of the group stage. But the finals were pretty brutal. I definitely watched the first like 10 minutes of each game and was like, oh,
yeah,
well.
So I guess a couple things to kind of remark here. A cool format, but I will say the first 2 days were super long to the point that I really couldn't digest all of it. I tried my best to watch it, but it was a shitload of Dota. They had 2 streams running for part of it. So I kind of caught the highlights. Teams Cloud9 and Thunder Predator were eliminated, the bottom 2 out of 6 in the group stage. It was a full round robin, and then it was Fnatic, OGC, EG, and Liquid that went on to the bracket. My big takeaway was Cloud9 looks lost. That was what I wrote down in my notes several times for this podcast. Cloud9 just looks lost.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. I don't know. I saw a couple of their games, and they're a brand new team, right? They're being thrown right into a LAN, but to not get any wins is a little brutal. There's no doubt.
So I did not watch all of their games. I'm kind of clicking through them right now, but it's not even they didn't win a game. They didn't even really put up any good games. They didn't put up any games where they're like, hey, this was really close. Oh, that crazy team fight. Okay, they just got outplayed here. Oh, this crazy high ground. A lot of the games were just, oh, we didn't really do that great in the lanes. The mid game was kind of tough. And then we just kind of fell apart.
It's like the Thunder Predator series. It's like they didn't even get double-digit kills both games. And that's the team that everyone was like, okay, well, this will be where Cloud9 will like have their chance. Like there were several games where they were like single digits. And I know kills don't mean that much in Dota, but single digits is generally not a great sign for your game.
I mean, these are all data points, right? And they add up where what was the positive of Cloud9 playing in this event? That they learned that Eternal Envy is going to be switching to mid, apparently. I mean, okay, if this was one of those just completely nuclear events and you learn something from it and you're going to make the adjustment that allows you to be a real solid team moving forward, that's totally worth it. But this was rough to watch, man. I kind of felt bad for him.
And their plan is to stay in NA, right? I wonder, do they have a facility here?
Cloud9? Oh,
they
that's
must.
a good question, actually. I was confusing it with Complexity at first.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's got one now. Liquid. Have you guys seen Liquid's new facility?
Oh, well, I've seen the pictures. I would love to see it in person. It looks incredible.
Is it in the Netherlands? I think it is.
I believe so. I think it's in Utrecht. I think it's where the HQ has always been. That's where Nazgul has always lived. It's a.
Oh, there you go.
I've never been there, but it's supposedly.
Tort would know. He's in the chat.
Yeah, there it is, dude. I probably said it wrong, but that's it. Utrecht. I've never been there, but apparently it's a pretty cool city.
I highly recommend looking at some of the Liquid players. It's like, wow. It's very space age, guys.
Yeah.
It's futuristic shit going on.
Yeah. No, Liquid has definitely sniped the cool factor. All their branding these days, even their sponsorships. Like, yeah, we're working with Marvel. You're just kind of like, what?
Okay, what? The Marvel one's really sick, actually.
Yeah, what? You're just partnering with superheroes? That's pretty cool. That's pretty hard to hate on.
The one that always makes me laugh is the Alienware one, because we used to I don't know, Alienware was always kind of a big joke in the gaming community, I feel like, because it's literally it's overpriced. Like, it's really good stuff, but you have to pay this huge premium for it. It's basically like the Apple of gaming.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Put your brain away, pay a lot of money, and we'll give you something that works super well.
Yeah. And it looks cool. Like, there is definitely, just like Max, there is an aesthetic factor to Alienware that you're either into it or you're not. I mean, aliens are either cool or lame, generally speaking, I think, in most people's opinions.
But they're definitely real.
Yeah.
That we do know.
So Thunder Predator, though, even though they didn't make it out of the groups, they, on the other hand, did put up some okay results. They had a lot of 1-1 series. They went 1-1 with OG Seed. They went 1-1 with Fnatic, and then also with Liquid.
I mean, they went 1-1 with everyone but EG, right? Like, that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Like, to go 1-1 against the guys like Fnatic, they went 1-1 versus Thunder Predator, OG Seed, and Evil Geniuses, who, of course, were two of the other big teams there.
So, a lot of Dota in the groups, but moving into the bracket, OG Seed versus EG was the upper, and Fnatic, Team Liquid was the lower match. I said that in a confusing manner. They both start in the upper bracket. It's a double elim.
Thanks, buddy. You're killing it here.
I know. So EG 2-0'd Seed, Fnatic 2-0'd Liquid. I remember watching those opening series like, wow, we're going to have a quick day. All right. Nice and easy. Fnatic looked pretty good. Seed were the ones that ended up impressing, though. They did that lower bracket run, elimination with Evil Geniuses, lower bracket finals, and then the disappointing finals against Fnatic, where Fnatic took the whole kit and caboodle 3-0 very convincingly. But OG Seed had their moment, man.
Yeah, if you are going to be doing any watching of the replays, guys, highly recommend the EG OG Seed for obvious reasons. It's like an upset series, so of course it's probably the big one you're going to pick anyway. But on top of that, it had the Liquid Squad casting the games. So it's always good to get that player perspective in on the matches too, and listening to them. And again, though, honestly, all of the casting was super sick. I thought Insania, I know he got a shout-out thread on Reddit, but he did extremely well.
Oh, yeah.
So the guy's a natural caster. He's been doing it for a very long time.
Yep.
Even back in Han, he did a lot of casting while he was a player. So he's very well-spoken. He also streams a lot, too, which definitely helps. Shout out to his stream. If you're a Position 5 player and you can never find a Position 5 streamer, he streams, and Taiga also streams. Although he plays 4, he still talks a lot too about his supporting decisions. And there's not a lot of support streamers, so PBD. That's another one. Yeah,
I'm loving the dynamic of the Team Liquid guys. We got to see a little more of their personality. Well, who told the story about the sandwich? Was it Boxy? Or
Boxy, yeah. The sandwich in the backpack.
That was pretty solid. It's one of those stories. Good. You know where it's going, but the way he told it, it was so Swedish and so direct, and I genuinely laughed pretty hard after he said that. Just like, why does my backpack smell so bad? And then it's like, what happened to the backpack? And he just starts smacking it like, here she is. Old reliable.
It was like he stopped talking and then he just went back to the mic and he was like, it was like duct tape. That was the part that broke me. He was like, it was black. It was like duct tape. It's like, ew, that's disgusting.
Yeah, that is pretty.
He
And
said,
that,
sorry, he left a sandwich in his bag for like 2 weeks, a Subway sub.
or it was like a month or something. Yeah,
More like a month, actually, yeah, because it was from the last land, like Dream League or something.
it was vegetarian though, so that at least made it a little bit better. If I think there was meat in there, that could have been.
Oh, that would have got discovered way earlier.
Yeah, it could have been the next
That's for
plague. So I guess we would be remiss if we didn't talk about Evil Geniuses, and since Fnatic won, we should probably talk about some of their play style and why they were able to win. But EG, I thought this was going to be their lane. You know, halfway through this event, things with coronavirus started getting really serious, and they were joking on the panel about how this event went from scrims to the last Dota 2 LAN in foreseeable future. Arteezy was on the couch. He said, we're trying hard now. We got to make our mark in the last LAN. And then OG Seed kicked him out. What happened, Trent? What went wrong?
I don't know. They seem to EG like tried to just go full aggro, I think is like their plan. Like old EG was always just like, we're gonna farm it up, right? That was the whole thing. And then game 1 versus OG Seed, at least they just tried to like play fast, I feel like. And then game 2, they tried to play fast again. And they did the same thing versus EG or Fnatic, right? Because their tricore versus Fnatic was Night Stalker, TA, Void Spirit. That is like one plan, right?
Yeah.
Like you're just gonna hit that TA timing, and your Void Spirit and your Night Stalker are like the same timing kind of heroes, and you just run the game down. And that works for the first game. Then the second game, they pick a very similar tricore to try and do it again. And then when they lose that, they go for like a harder carry in the Void. And then versus OGC, they kind of did the same thing, where in the third game they went for a Spectre. And then it didn't work. Like it feels like they're trying this fast-paced thing, and it works sometimes and it doesn't work, but they still have that same fallback of the all right, let's just let Arteezy do his thing. I don't know. I'd be interested to maybe just watch like 6 or 7 EG games in a row and try and get a real feel as to what their view of Dota is right now.
Yeah. The game 3 of EG versus OG Seed, I feel like I need to go back and rewatch. I think that was one of the highlight matches of the event, and that was where OG Seed played Terrorblade, and I was kind of surprised. I was looking at that draft, and I did not expect a Terrorblade to pop out.
Oh, that game was wild, though. That's like,
yeah,
that was like that big game with the TV and the Rapier, and
oh, yeah.
That's, again, why you want to be watching this game when it comes to the series that you're going to be looking at.
Can we, before we dive into Fnatic, can we take a moment to talk about Rapier a little bit now that it has True Strike? Does this item feel too strong to you? I know you haven't been playing pubs too much. I've had a couple games where somebody buys it. I mean, obviously against PA, that like Dusa versus PA matchup, you get that Rapier at 28 minutes and PA just dies and you feel like you can't do anything. Is True Strike on this thing too good?
No, I don't think so. It's also a giant punishment. Like, if you die, you lose it. Pretty big punishment. It's like game over if you lose it.
I mean, yeah, but isn't this item... Well, yeah, I guess you're right. The more you buff it, the more the opportunity cost if you lose it. But
when you play Rapier, it's like you can never die. You have to know exactly what the game plan is, and your opponents on the pro level will always know when you're going to buy a Rapier. I think at this point, there's no way you don't know, like, if it's a TB game or a Medusa game, you got to know that thing's probably coming out.
Yeah, but
right?
Isn't it, in certain situations, such a DPS boost compared to what that item used to be? Because it's not like you can just buy True Strike elsewhere. It's best in class in 2 different slots, where it's 100% True Strike, and it's the highest DPS weapon by a huge margin. So now when you get it, even though it's a higher risk if you lose it, your chances of losing it are lower because it makes you so much stronger now. So you hit this power spike even harder, and it just lets you like you just have to win one fight. You know, the risk is if we roll them right here, we're just gonna walk up and end this shit.
Yeah, but you have to lose. You also can't lose a single fight, and you have to win 2 fights because you have to assume buybacks. And if you lose one fight, like if you lose to buybacks and you lose the Rapier, then you probably just lost, right?
Yeah, you could also get an Aegis and then just back up when they buy back. And I mean, I don't know. You're right. You have to play it not like an asshole, but
Like Rapier is, I mean, when you have to factor in like, oh, your BKB still has to be really high, and you need like more defensive items, and you like probably need a saving support or something. I think Rapier's fine.
I was gonna say,
I don't think it's
I want to put it maybe another way. Rapier has been underloved for a while, so it feels strong. Is it overpowered, or are we just at a point where Rapier is appropriately relevant in matches, where it's not just this YOLO all in, okay, we're gonna lose anyway, we have to get the Rapier. It's actually part of a viable strategy that just has a little more risk attached to it. That's a cool.
Yeah. I would put it like that. I think that's
Okay.
a good way of describing its current state.
All right.
I don't think it's broken.
You need to play more Medusa, my man. I don't know. I think it's pretty fucking busted.
Well,
on
of
that
course
hero.
it's good on certain heroes. It's very good. That's fine. But there's all kinds of items like that. That's like saying that Battle Fury's broken because Anti-Mage buys it.
Yeah, I think that analogy conflates degree a little bit. If Battle Fury had True Strike, maybe I'd agree with you.
How's that any different? It makes it really good for these heroes, just like Battle Fury is really good for Anti-Mage and trash on everyone else.
Because the power spike for Battle Fury is now I get to play more farm in the jungle and push out lanes. The power spike for Medusa on Rapier is we're going to roll them right now. It's just such a
What other
huge
items
jump.
do you need with a Rapier on Medusa? What other support heroes do you need with a Rapier on Medusa?
An Aegis
I
be
would
nice.
argue by your logic, the Battle Fury is more broken because it needs less things helping it.
I don't.
Good sir.
You've twisted my brain into a pretzel. I don't even know where this is.
I've
this is
twisted
going.
you like this rubber band ball.
Rapier is more broken than Battle Fury. I don't know how you've twisted this logic around, you Slaxian bastard, but I stand by my original statement.
Sounds good. We'll just all hate Diffusal Blade together.
All right, I'm in on that. Finally, something we can agree on. So, Fnatic. One of the things that stood out to me with Fnatic, this fucking position 3 Snapfire. I know they're not the only ones doing it, but this is like the Ice 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 hero of Ice 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 heroes. Am I wrong?
Why is that?
Because it's so stylish. This hero has crazy damage, so he can get solo kills and make big plays. She's highly mobile, so you can do crazy jukes and debate type moments. You got cookies. You can jump in to initiate with AoE stuns. It's got the full Ice 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 package. You can style on people. You can kind of solo in lane. You can snipe kills from range. You can survive sticky situations. It's fun to watch. It's fun to play. And the damage on that hero still feels a little overtuned. Am I crazy? Like, I see the burst that she
damage
does.
is still very high. Yeah,
and it's just, it's nuts. The ultimate and I forget the name of it, the close range blast or whatever. That shit's
Scatter
nuts.
Blast, I believe.
Yeah. I mean, you still see people getting caught off guard by it. You're like, oh, I'm at 300 HP. It's not going to one-shot me. Boop. You're just dead.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I don't know. It's funny. I remember the very first day I played her, I built Greaves on that hero, and I was like, yo, this hero's sick. Like, I feel like auras on that hero have always felt so incredible. So it makes sense that you're just going to want to, like, buy auras, and that's kind of what Ice does. It's not like he does, like, some weird damage build or anything.
Yeah.
I'm sure he probably will at some point. It'll happen based on, like, a game that needs it. But for the most part, she's just a super good aura character. She's so tanky as a strength hero. She, like, can just stay in the middle of fights, but at the same time, if she's not in the fight, she can still use her ulti. Yeah, I think when she first launched, I remember Bruno said that he thought she would be an offlaner.
Mm-hmm.
But and that like kind of happened. He said the same thing about Void Spirit, which did eventually happen after a couple of nerfs.
Yeah. But EG played it in 2 games against Fnatic, but both of those, it was played by Fly. And did Fnatic always play it on 3 when they picked it up? I know in the finals, Ice 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 played it in games 2 and 3. And in game 3, I kind of got mad and seeing that draft, like, why would you let this through again? He just kicked your ass. Just ban the Snapfire.
I don't know. I didn't see their group stage games, so whatever they did in the group stage. I know in the playoffs it was just those games. I don't even think they picked it because he played Pango versus Liquid.
They rolled C9 with it in that series. They played Snapfire Puck in both games. Fnatic did, I mean.
Yeah. But, well, and anyway, so Fnatic, that's their first LAN win since it's some crazy number. It's like from like 2012 or something. It's the first time the org has won a LAN in like 8 years in Dota.
Is that serious? All right, I gotta look at the history.
Yeah, or like a like decent sized LAN with good teams. I saw Knoxville tweeting about it. It was some crazy time.
Wow.
See if I can find it. Fnatic's first major LAN win since December 2012. The Thor Open. Looks like
Thor Open.
Yep. Pretty crazy.
And I guess that was a premier tournament back then. $20,000 prize pool. It was a
Hype.
Swedish LAN, 130K SEK, sponsored by Fragbite, or set up by Fragbite.se. Well, good on you,
Well,
Fnatic.
those are some old names.
Yeah.
Fragbite. But yeah, so big win for the org. I saw one of their like big manager guys like, we won a Dota LAN. That's all he tweeted. I was like, yeah, that's fair.
How you
Long
feeling
time coming.
about our boy 23 Savage these days? I feel like there's still a soft spot in my heart because we saw the beginning of this guy start to evolve in his career at the TI qualifiers last year. You feel like he's coming into his own? Is he really making his mark as a position 1?
I mean, we knew 23 Savage. This guy's gonna be huge. This guy wound up being pretty huge.
He's been pretty consistent. I think this LAN was some of the most consistent. Like, I kind of didn't notice him, which I think is a good thing for a carry player sometimes. I didn't notice him making mistakes or throws. He just showed up and did his shit. And yeah.
Was it Dream League we were casting their games, I think, for the major, right? Because we were like the remote stream, and he was blowing it. He like threw like 2 games. He like blinked in an Animage. He like threw 1 game and almost threw the second one by like dying 3 times in a row.
Yes.
I feel like
oh my
was
God,
us.
you're right. I remember that. He looked awful in that series.
Yeah, when we were just like, oh God. So
Ugh.
yeah, he had one good tournament here, but he's also had some pretty bad ones as of late. What was he being flamed as? I can't remember what the Twitch chat memes were, but they weren't very good in his favor. So he's
forget how young he is.
One
though.
now,
17.
doing all right.
His birthday is coming up in 11 days. Turning 18 soon. He was born in 2002.
23 Cabbage. That's now my favorite Twitch meme.
23 Cabbage.
Boom roasted.
But still a lot of time for him to come into his own. So probably par
Is there,
for the course.
Zyrie? What if there's no tournaments?
Well, I have a sneaky suspicion that there will be a lot of online gameplay popping up in the months to come, because we have this wide open calendar now of, how long is this general quarantine going to last? At this point, I'm going to guess like 2 months. When do you think events are going to pop up again? Do you think that TI, is there a chance that we'll have a regular TI with a crowd as planned in Sweden in August? What is that?
There is a chance, but there's also a complete chance we don't.
5 months away. 5 months.
It completely depends on how quarantine efforts continue in certain countries. That's like all that matters, right? Like it's so hard to judge right now because we don't know what governments are going to enact, what policies, and what sort of travel restrictions there's going to be. And what if one country just like, what's the UK? Isn't the UK going for like herd immunity or some dumbass shit? And they're just gonna be like shipping out a bunch of infected people all the time.
Well, I'm sure there are a few British folks watching in chat that can probably attest to the policy.
Aren't you guys literally exporting coronavirus?
Well, I know that Trump banned European travel, but not UK travel.
They got banned now.
I know. They added it because they had a bad breakout. But at the beginning of that announcement, he thought the virus might respect the Shenzhen zone. And I was really hopeful there. We drew a line in the sand. You will not cross.
We do not want the virus, sir. We got Brexit.
But yeah, they have been included in said travel ban and lockdown.
Wow, Sweden's going for it too.
Herd immunity. So does that mean everybody gets it and then you survive and then you have sort of like chicken pox, you have a natural immunity to it after you've had the virus? Is that what
I am not a good enough scientist to have an intelligent conversation.
Is that what herd immunity means in this context? I know herd immunity on a basic level means that whole group has inoculation so that it can't spread. If everybody gets the chicken pox
I only know of it
vaccine.
in like the historical. I don't know what it really means for like a how it's going to impact when there's other people. Like, because, I get it. Like, if your herd is Sweden, but it's such a stupid concept because borders are fluid. It's just like... It just
right. I see what you mean. If you knew that you were going to live on a desert island and your people were just going to be stuck there and we had 100 people, that's an okay strategy. But if you're part of the global economy and people are traveling in and out, kind of fucks up the whole...
I don't know. I guess if you have a healthcare system that could handle it, maybe it can do something.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not smart enough in this subject to discuss it.
It might be cold enough in Sweden that the virus is already struggling. I don't know, dude. That's the...
Yes. because it doesn't spread well when everyone's contained up indoors in the heat.
I don't know. Apparently, for everything I've heard about the hoping that it's going to die down in the summer so far is not really realistic, because it's spreading pretty well in the climates that are also warm. And if that happens, we would be considered lucky, I guess. So we're sort of assuming
I'm not
for the worst.
expecting normal life for, like, it's not like everyone's going to be fully quarantined, but like the way, at least I've had discussed to me by medical people in my family, was that what is likely to happen is that, like, you might see your province or your state or whatever quarantine for like 2 weeks to a month, and then things will go back to normal, and then there might be another breakout where they're going to quarantine for another 2 weeks, and like to try and stagger and try and like flatten the curve, right?
Yes.
Because like if you let it, this is the only thing I do know. If you let it, grow exponentially, then it just means that all the hospital beds are going to be used up, and then people are going to start dying because there's not enough medical resources to be used. So by trying to flatten the curve and slow the rate at which people get it, it means that, of course, there's going to be less people in the hospital at a time, which means more people can be served, which means not, because it's not just the people that are sick with COVID-19. It's about the fact that, like, at least here in Canada, hospital beds were already full before this happened. Right. So when you add this on top of that at a pandemic level, it's super dangerous for people that have stuff that aren't COVID-19.
Yes.
Because it's going to be hard to service them.
All those other medical conditions still exist. They don't just go away because COVID's here.
So hopefully, I think the smartest solution is that normal, like semi-normal life occurs. We go back to another quarantine. More semi-normal life occurs. Back to a quarantine. And in our world of lands and events and stuff, that's not really a great way to try and, like, if I was going to plan a LAN, I would not plan it right now until like maybe past September, like November.
I would say
like
December.
I don't even know if that's safe, because you can't predict anything.
December feels tentatively safe to me, in terms of, like, that's so far away that if we don't have it under control by then, there's so many bigger problems that we're, let's buy event insurance on this one. Make sure we can cancel or something. But yeah, I'm a little nervous for TI. I think there's a world where TI could just happen without a crowd. At that point, that seems somewhat reasonable. Wasn't there just a UFC event where they canceled the crowd, but the fight still happened? I mean,
dude, did you see that video of the wrestling that they did?
The wrestling?
There was, like, pro wrestling, like WWE shit.
Yeah.
There was this some Fox station was running wrestling with no crowd. It's just hilarious. It was a tag. The clip I saw was a tag team of 2 women versus 2 women, and some guy was like leaking footage, or I don't know if they accidentally aired it or what it was, but they weren't even doing anything during the break. Like during the commercial, they were like just fucking around because they, like, no one's watching, right? So they were all like curled over laughing when it went to commercial, which maybe, at least they find their shit funny.
There are certain things that not having an audience, just kind of like UFC, I guess, is a little more technical, so you can still appreciate the fighting. But I mean, professional wrestling it's all about the hype. That's working the crowd is the job, basically. Hulk Hogan without a crowd is way less impressive. I could tell you that.
I don't think we could have, like, I mean, obviously the NHL's postponed, but if they started doing games again without crowd, I don't know if they could. Because you pick up a lot of stuff already with hockey. There would have been a lot of bad words.
Well, I think it's easier if it's like a 1-versus-1 combat sport. It's a little bit easier to manage and contain. Team sports, you have the whole team, then the people on the bench. Like, it's still a lot of humans in relatively close proximity, and that's hard to. A locker room's a locker room, dude. It's kind of hard to draw barriers for germs and stuff there, even if you're pretty diligent. It's not the same as 2 people each having their own locker room where they're there with 1 or 2 key people, like their coach and their, nutritionist or whatever. But have there been major outbreaks in the NHL the same way the NBA has had?
I don't believe so. I don't know if any. I don't think any NHL players have it. At least I haven't really kept up with the news today. But I don't think any NHL players confirmed with it. I know there's like soccer players. And I don't think any NFL players have been announced either. Obviously, they're on off season, but they're all still camping together. A lot of them.
That one clip though of the Utah Jazz player that was Rudy, the guy that was infected and then touched all the stuff to prove that it was no big deal. And then he went in the locker room and touched everybody else's stuff. and he was
Yeah,
the
he
start.
fucked up.
Oh God, watching that video is just painful. It makes me physically hurt seeing that.
My mother-in-law saw that and she said, "Did you see that clip of the NBA player?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "And now his teammates are infected." And I was like, "Yeah, well, he had it." And she's like, "Wait, what?" Like she thought that the story was just that he was making this big joke and then his teammates got infected. She didn't even know it was him that was infected. Then she like died.
Yeah,
It's like, oh my god, like man, so brutal.
I mean, the Haas was slaying it. He got a couple of his tweets got picked up by the Twitterverse after they announced the state of emergency, and then Trump shook hands with everybody, and they all touched the mic and all that stuff after they told everybody to stop touching each other.
No, I didn't see that.
Dude, Nahaz was right on it. I think that last I looked, that tweet had almost 250 retweets on it or something.
So he went viral with the virus.
Well,
Legendary.
slightly viral. Yeah.
Mini viral.
So, yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be a while before we see physical events, but we're already taking steps to be more league focused. I guess what I'm really curious about is how are we going to handle this cancellation of events? And I want to read verbatim what Dota 2 posted. This was tweeted out yesterday at 3:30 p.m. Mountain. After careful consideration of the current state and trajectory of the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as the health risk that this presents to competitors, staff, and fans alike, we have to make the difficult decision to cancel the fourth minor and major tournaments of the DPC season. Given the high fluidity of the state of both the pandemic and geopolitical landscape, we will keep following the situation and decide how to approach the final major and minor of the season as the weeks progress. So the entire state of DPC leading into TI, even if TI is online or whatever, with or without fans, we don't even know how the system's going to work. How are we going to replace these DPC points? How are we going to handle this postponed ESL major that, who knows, maybe it could, does it have a date? Could it get postponed again?
No, I don't think they've set a date yet.
Okay. So, I mean, these giant venue events
that they might use the dates for Epicenter for the, like, depending on how the stuff goes, but
yeah. So, but
that's only April, so that's probably too close.
If it ends up this way, is one easy kind of pseudo fix to just say, hey, we're doing 4 majors and minors instead of 5? And that way everybody gets punished evenly. Like, yep, that whole chunk of the circuit was just shut down. We still had 4. All the regions were equally represented. It's an even blow to everyone.
Yeah, if we can do it.
Right.
I don't know. That window is still pretty tight, you know?
Yeah. And that's the shitty part for the actual majors. The minors are a little bit less of a big deal, but the majors specifically, you have to do an event. It cannot be done online. The way our majors are set up with all the global teams, there is no fair way to do it just straight up online with everybody playing at home. You have to bring the teams together on LAN, and that presents some risk. And as they put out, geopolitical is the perfect word. Getting 16 teams from all around the world in one place in the next 2 months might be pretty fucking tough. Where are you going to broadcast that thing from?
It so depends on like where these teams are and what their status is, like in their home country. Like no one's gonna want, like, what if one country is just like insanely infected? No one's gonna want them coming.
Yeah,
you know. And even if your country's fine, there's still air travel. There's still like, yeah. I'm not feeling too hot about it, guys. I'm not gonna lie. At this point, I'm also down for online leagues to just get started. Like, I think Valve should step in and start creating online leagues like a month from now or something. And I think they should maybe assign points and maybe handpick again. I don't know. I'm not completely against handpicking teams. Maybe we're trying to get completely away from that and go totally merit based.
Isn't that gap going to be filled by the market anyway? Aren't all these TOs or teams or whoever right now thinking about what are we going to do? I mean, teams are sitting at home. We want to play. People will cast it. I'm positive that events will be organized.
If Valve are going to go hands off and let everyone else do their leagues, like us and BTS and We Play and whatnot, then they're going to have to handpick, right? Because are these games just going to be meaningless, or do we want to give them some purpose?
I think they're going to be meaningless. Well, they'll have cash.
Well, here's the thing.
There will be prize pools.
But should Valve put some status on them, because there might not be lands?
So that's
what I'm trying to say.
I see what you're saying. I
become important.
I think it really starts fucking around with things. I think that's, to me, plan C or D. First up is we're going to cancel this chunk of DPC and just move it to 4. If we can't do that 5th set leading up to TI, okay, we can't just say half of our DPC qualifiers are canceled. That really shafts teams that were put together, like teams that skipped the 1st or 2nd major thinking, oh, well, there's still 3 more. I'm waiting until I can get this player or this contract or whatever the circumstances are. That's pretty rough. So I think that's the territory where I would say we need to make up for this loss of content and do something to rebuild DPC to make TI meaningful. Because if you just cancel 2/5 of the DPC season, I think that takes away some of the weight of what should be the biggest TI ever. This is the TI 10 anniversary, dude. So that's the point that I agree with you, but not yet. I don't want to jump the gun on trying to redo this point system that's already partially established.
I think, luckily, we have plenty of weeks to figure this out, guys.
That's true. We do have some time.
We don't have a whole lot of Dota topics going on over the next couple of weeks for these shows. So
yeah, that's true.
I'm gonna come back with a plan, guys. It's gonna be a 3-part plan. The Michael Scott.
I mean, it's wild.
64-part plan.
The thing about this, though, is during these times, there are a couple of things that don't really crash with the economy.
We're going carbon neutral.
Entertainment, dude. Like, movies don't stop. If anything, people are consuming more now. I think Netflix and Twitch
theaters
and Amazon, all right, movie theaters, but like people watching movies through streaming or their tablets or whatever the fuck it is, like people are consuming more content than ever before because they've got nothing else to do right now. I saw
Steam broke records yesterday.
Yeah, dude, Twitch is blowing up right now. So it's a small silver lining, but I don't know. I think I said this yesterday when I was streaming with Pop-Tart, but do you think there's any merit to this really changing that fundamental gamer stereotype of gaming being an antisocial activity, mom's basement, neckbeard kind of thing? Because now so many more regular mainstream folks are playing games to fill the void. I've seen so much talk on Twitter of internal company Slacks and dialogue saying, hey, what video game should I play? I got nothing else to do. Now everyone is sort of a gamer to some degree. This might help bridge the gap from parents to kids understanding some of the value of esports, where it was totally mysterious, and now they've actually got some time to sit down and appreciate a little bit. Is that crazy? Am I just being idealistic here?
I mean, it's good in some senses, but there's also just so many bad things happening. Like,
well, it's not
personally
worth
for
it.
me. I'm all about the lands.
No. I just mean from like a macro perspective, this might be a crazy
positive for gaming.
Yeah,
positive for remote working at home. Telecommuting,
dude,
is going to lose a lot of its there's kind of a stigma on it, right? Like people assume you're not working as hard or something or whatever. Probably going to become a little bit more popular. I was reading an article talking about how secretaries died out during the last recession or the last recession based on this kind of stuff, right? Like people getting laid off and everything during the financial crisis, and now with the pandemic in combination, people are going to see that they're saving money when people work from home, right? So some businesses might promote it more often. Just like when people got laid off during the 2008 financial crisis, no one got their secretaries back and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, you're totally right.
Because everyone used to have their own one. And now you have 5 or 6 offices will often share the same secretary now.
Yeah.
Because why can't one person do that for 6 places? You know what I mean?
There will absolutely be companies that thought working from home was not realistic, that were now forced into it, that will have evidence showing that there wasn't a significant dip in productivity relative to what they have to pay, the cost savings of remote work. It's like if you could downscale your office and save all this space and time and everyone's working just as efficiently, I don't know why you would want to go back to the old ways if you have a shining gem of the new way, the light, Come to the light, normies. Video games, remote working, home offices, the contractor life.
I could never work in an office.
I think I'm done with it, dude. I used to fantasize about man, when I'm done with this little esports stint, I'm going to get a real job in an office and it's going to be awesome. I'm going to have the desk, and I don't even want that anymore, man. I've got my own office right here, and guess what? It's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I can listen to music as loud as I want.
As loud as I want. Well, as long as it doesn't come through the mic for the podcast. Aside from that, you can go as loud as you want. It's perfect.
But yeah, it is really strange to be in a time where this global pandemic, this crisis that we're all dealing with, is disproportionately not hurting gamers. You know, like everyone else is freaking about the quarantine. We're all like, 2 weeks to sit inside and play video games? This could be worse. You know, I've had.
It's true.
It's a strange, just kind of like, oh, so I just need to do the kind of, all right, I'm just going to keep on doing it. I'm just going to play video games and stream and do podcasts. And it's really weird. I feel like we're very lucky in this strange scenario. And I've never felt so lucky to be part of esports in that way, you know? Like, how lucky are we to be doing a podcast? Isn't remote podcasting the dream job for a quarantine-like scenario? How fucking lucky are we, man?
We're very lucky.
Blows
Thank you for
my
your
mind.
positive vibes, dog.
You got to appreciate, dude. You got to sit back, and sometimes you just got to kick back and go, God damn, it could be a lot worse. I don't mean to.
No doubt about that.
I don't mean to gloat. I just mean it more as like, this. It's awakening, dude. It makes me feel like I need to be prepared. I bought some canned food, man.
It's kind of weird that, it's kind of the first real big global crisis of our lives. I think some people would probably rate 9/11. I think there's definitely an argument for that, just because it like started 2 wars and stuff, and it changed a lot of how we looked at at the world.
That was
like 9/11 was pretty fucking huge. But this is like on that same level for sure.
It's hard to contextualize 9/11 now because there's been so much more mass violence that it doesn't feel like, when you say it like that, it's like, yeah, but what about all these other shootings and stuff? Back then when that happened, that was like, it was almost like inconceivable, you know, that something like that could happen. It was just stunning. It was there's probably a perfect word there that kind of summarizes that emotional, just like shock of.
Yeah, and as I said, some people aren't going to feel the same way about 9/11 because you're not North Americans. And that's fine.
That's totally true.
You're not going to have the same thing. That's whatever.
I'm totally biased.
In terms of our lives, 9/11 was this huge. Like, it changed everything.
Wait, I was in New Jersey when it happened, so it was a huge fucking deal. We were there, man. You know, I was in South Jersey, but still, it was close enough that people were freaked out. They were like, "There's a nuclear plant not that far away. That could be a target." You know, that was real fear.
Interesting how this is like on that same level, but it's like it came about so differently. Because like 9/11, just like one day it just happened, and then it was just like this big shock. Whereas this has been like a slow shock of like people are like, oh, okay, it's kind of a thing. Okay, well, wait, what's happening? Oh, this is like really serious, and then it's like, oh, okay, shit, now it's here.
Yeah.
And oh, my life just got completely altered for the next like 8 weeks.
Yeah, seriously. One of the scarier things that I heard also is, for the young, healthy people that the virus doesn't affect quite as dramatically. What's really scary is if you get coronavirus and the flu, or coronavirus and the common cold, both at the same time, really fucks you up. So, like, if, one or the other, if you're a 30-year-old, chances are you'll probably be okay. But getting both is a really bad time. The pneumonia and shit.
Only old people are dying and stuff. It's like, well, yeah, but they're still like, getting intubated if you're like 30 or 40 and you got hit really hard. Like that, you can still be hospitalized. And if you're not hospitalized, obviously that can be quite a bit worse for you. It's
got to be rough with kids, though, man. Those kiddies are germ factories. I know there's a parkour gym next to the gym that Carlo trains at, and they do children's stuff, and they shut down like immediately. They're like, kids, germs, we're out. We can't pretend to try to sanitize this place. Shut it down.
Yeah. Yeah, today was the last day for daycare, and Sarah just didn't want to send them. And I was like, yeah, okay, fair enough. Like, why bother? We still have to keep them for another, 3 weeks after this anyway, so no point giving them one more day to be open towards it.
Yeah. But I don't know. I guess the grocery stores are staying open. What scares me is the point when those hourly workers stop going into work. That's when it gets. I hope it doesn't get to that point. The grocery stores are still open and people are still. Man, I went to the grocery store 2 or 3 days ago and I almost tipped the cashier lady. Like, I wanted to tip her and the bag guy, but I didn't know how to do it in a way that didn't seem condescending. Of just like, you guys are the heroes right now. They looked completely frazzled. The lady, I said, they should be paying you time and a half. And she said, well, I'm getting time and a half, but only because I'm working so much overtime. It's just like, God damn, dude. You guys are the serious heroes that are allowing the rest of us to get the supplies we need to quarantine. I genuinely felt bad. I felt like those hourly workers were picking up the slack and not being compensated appropriately for it. But I didn't know what to do to help. Was I just going to leave a 20 on the counter? I don't know if that really sends the right
I
message.
assume that there'll be some sort of government mandates to keep those kind of essential services open.
I hope so. Isn't that also wild that grocery store employees are essential services now? Doesn't that make you appreciate aspects of the economy that we have been taking for granted for a pretty long time?
I mean, it's a job that you give to like the 14-year-old. It's like the classic first job. Like you're either 14 or you're 65 when you're working at the grocery store.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. It's weird. I don't know how. I don't know the word to express that emotion of just fuck, man.
Yeah. We're all in it together, guys. Remember, self-isolate as much as you can. Don't go to St. Patrick's Day parties. Don't go out clubbing.
Don't go on cruises. Don't go don't go to parades.
Takeout. If you gotta get food, get takeout. Go to the grocery store.
The bare essentials.
You know, wash your hands.
Wash your vegetables.
Wash your vegetables. That's a good one too. People be fucking touching all over those mangoes.
Yep. I am definitely in that category of a little lazy about washing produce, and
yeah, I'm there too.
The like lemons, limes, anything that has like an outer part, don't put that shit in your drinks. That's like the lime wedge. Avoid the lime wedge at all cost. Ice is 50-50. Avoiding ice is probably pretty good too.
Don't forget to go through your Steam back catalog at all those games you bought and never played.
Yep. Perfect.
I must have so many games like that, dude. I can't even imagine. That's what I should just stream.
There you go, dude.
The most random
you can play Reforged.
Oh, no, I didn't buy that shit.
But now there's some Nintendo games coming out. The Path of Exile League is in full swing. World of Warcraft Classic is still moving. Arathi Basin was released last week, I think, so everybody's been PvPing. Great time to catch up on that backlog of games you've got there, that's for sure.
Yeah, hopefully you guys aren't getting too screwed over by your own work statuses at home.
Yeah.
Obviously, very scary for some people. Hoping that a lot of countries will go for the slowdown on the mortgages.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
That would be nice. But I mean, I'm pretty lucky. I'm fine. I have, I'm pretty fiscally responsible. I still have a couple invoices coming my way. I save my money.
Yeah.
My investments though. Oh God.
So it's
the curve. It was expected. The thing has been going like this for quite a while. You knew it was coming.
Well, and I guess I might as well announce here. I sort of half shared it publicly, but I'm now officially working with Dendy's team, Team Bait, working in partnerships, sponsorships, sales, that kind of stuff. So if anybody listening works for a company that would like to do some cool stuff with Dendy, shoot me an email, shoot me a DM. We should definitely talk. We've got an amazing content team. We've got some great plans for the future. Bait is going to be a brand that is on the esports map for years to come, and you could certainly be a part of it. I was thinking, like, what a great time for a remote sales job in some ways, but folks also aren't really spending in the marketing department as much right now. So also kind of a tough time for a sales gig. But I'm completely honored to be working for this org, and I'm really excited about the future, man. I'm excited to be on the team side of things a little bit.
Gagagen has a great point. Do you have a title?
Partnerships manager.
Master Bait?
Master Bait. I need to come up with a better title. I should have put that in my contract. After a year, my title gets upgraded to something inappropriate. Fuck.
Someday. You got time, I think.
Yeah, I got plenty of time. So, I got some irons in the fire as well. I agree. I hope it's going well for y'all out there. Heads up, chins up. We're going to make it.
Yep. It'll all be good.
But yeah, keep an eye out for announcements in Dota 2. I do think right now is the quiet before the storm, and there have been rumblings of a lot of different ideas for leagues, tournaments.
Everybody is planning Dota tournaments right now, guys.
So everybody is talking. I don't know what's going to come to fruition.
Let me just tell you, there will be a lot of online Dota in the coming month.
Yeah, so the next week or two might be quiet, but I think April is actually going to be a pretty busy time for online Dota. So buckle those seatbelts, get prepared. The funsies are coming. So I think that's it, dude. All right, get this podcast up on Blink. You can find the audio first, and then we'll have this on the Moonduck YouTube. And I'm going to stream some more Path of Exile.
Is back.
Yeah.
Online Dota. Woo! You know what? This is all Cap's fault because he tweeted, "No more online casting." Remember that after the announcement of the leagues, and it was like all the casters will be on site. I remember that tweet, Cap. You did this. Now look where we are.
And here we are.
Back to the DDoS.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So
Good
Pop Tart
times.
and I are going to continue our Summoner Brothers reign.
Get
Path of
going.
Exile fans, join us, dude. It's so fun doing mirror builds. I'm telling you, we're just buying the same items. We're buddies. We're buddies in crime, dude. The Summoner Brothers.
All right.
Brother.
Well, I have to go help my dear wife because I've promised her
right.
I'd be as fast as possible. So
You go be responsible.
I will. You go be a degen.